enthusiasts, what's happening? This is Salty Language episode 622.
The sexiest podcast on the network.
Yeah, we survived the apocalypse.
Did we? I mean, I guess we did. We're both alive.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
I mean, it's fine. It's like as shit as it was. It's like I can't really complain because it was just rain and some wind for the most part. It wasn't like tornadoes and hail for most of us in the area.
I mean, if you look at my neighborhood, it looked pretty tornadic.
Yeah,
we got trees down everywhere.
Oh, dude, I for anyone who doesn't happen to know, I guess, or if you're listening to this much later, like a pretty big, powerful storm system came through, and just dumped rain on us for like hours.
Oh yeah,
and not just like, oh, it was a little bit of rain, but just dumped rain. It was like the kind of rain that, like, if you were going to go in a store, you'd sit in your car hoping there's going to be a break, and there's no break.
Right.
It's my brother and I drove a little bit in it last night, and because he was going to see if he had power, and he was checking on my other brother and my nephew, and just everywhere, like you were saying, just trees down, or not trees down, branches and limbs everywhere.
Yeah, it was the kind of weather that if I still lived up in Michigan, I would have severe anxiety from my basement flooding.
Dude. Seriously. Well, that's why we went over and checked on my nephew, because where he's at, he does get some water, and his power was out, and I was like, oh boy, because I lived through it too, so yeah,
very familiar with that shit, unfortunately.
Yeah, and he was sleeping, and I was like, God, must be nice.
Sleep through that?
I don't know. Like I was, because for years, I mean, I literally had some, like, I don't want to call it PTSD, because I really don't want to like minimize PTSD, but like, even after I moved out of that house on Daytona, when it was pouring rain, I would if I was in bed, I'd be listening for the sump pump, even though we didn't have one anymore.
Right.
Because I didn't have to worry about the flooding up here. But it was like, I still, my instinct was, oh shit, I don't hear the sump pump.
Oh,
like I got to get up and check, and it's like, dude, you're good.
For sure. I mean, that's kind of how I am when it pours like that, and I get the like text from Edison, like, hey, no power in your neighborhood. And my first thought was like, fuck. And I'm like, oh wait, it's really not that big of a deal.
Yeah. So
not like it was in my old house. Oh, hey, your power's out. Great, I got 5 feet of water in my basement.
Yeah, right, exactly. Yeah, it's like, that's why we had a generator at the other house, because we had to keep that sump pump running. But like that kind of rain, like yesterday, you would have been able to maybe stay even at best.
Yeah.
But odds are you'd still be taking water on, because it was coming in it would have been coming in so fast.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, it was, like I said, we were out a little bit when it was just rain, and it was wild. Like, I was sitting at Target at one point, and I looked up at the clouds, and like off to the left, they were kind of big and menacing looking. Then in the straight ahead of us, they were kind of fluffy and rippled. And then to the right, it was like, how, like, when you look at like when you can see, and it looks like the clouds have like basically like you can tell it's just rain from the clouds. You can
see the rain coming out of them, basically.
Yeah. And it was like, holy shit, like you just took in the whole sky in your scope. There's looked like 3 different, completely different sets, and it was like that menacing thing kind of swept in. Then the next group was a little bit of rain, and then that third thing was like when it was dumping rain.
It sounds like this would have been an ideal time to make your second reel.
Yeah, you're right. I should have.
Come on, Brian.
You're right. I needed to start an account. This is like weather reel.
Cloud reels.
Yeah. But man, it was pretty crazy just watching that and how fast it was moving and everything. It's just, but it was, like I said, I was out in it a little bit, and it really, other than it was just torrential type dumping rain, it wasn't anything. Like, even on the, the meteorologists on TV were basically like, hey, it sucks. Watch for flooding, basically, so.
I mean,
but like you said, knocked your power out, knocked my brother's power out, knocked my nephew and my other brother's power out. Although, in fairness, those 3 do live very close to each other. So,
Yeah, it was like we got out of work just a little early, and I'm driving home. You know, I plug my phone into my car so I can listen to Spotify and stuff like that. And like
Yeah.
it automatically just navs, right? And it's telling
Yeah.
me to like get off at the exit after my exit. I'm like, I'm not doing that. I should
Yeah.
have. As soon as I got off on my street, it was just nonstop traffic. None of the traffic lights were working. There
Right.
was a dude who honestly was very lucky. His Durango was up on top of a giant branch, so it must have fallen right in front of him, and he just drove on it.
Oh
I
wow.
mean,
Yeah.
I ended up cutting back through the neighborhoods to avoid like the snarl of no light traffic. And then I'm
Yeah.
coming up my road, and like I said, it looked like the apocalypse. And I pull up, and my neighbor's out there, and I roll down my window. I'm like, God damn, man. He's like, yeah. He's like, I just got home too, and he's out there with gloves on. We're moving. I let my dogs out, and I'm up there moving branches and shit out of driveways and off the sidewalks.
Yeah.
It was insane.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know I saw like Point Place, which again, sorry for being local, but like in Point Place here, not that long ago when a system of storms came through, they actually had a tornado touchdown there and some stuff was pretty toe up. And then this came through and was yanking more branches
Oh
and
yeah.
everything and power lines and all that. And I was like, geez, but like I said, from what I heard on the news last night, doesn't sound like anybody was really
Oh, that's
seemingly
good.
hurt by anything. Yeah. I think it was one of those where it was more, it felt, and I don't mean this in any way of a challenge to Mother Nature, but it felt like there was more bark than bite to
Right.
the storms,
Yeah, I was like,
aside from not power out to what, 20,000
yeah.
people,
I
I
mean,
think.
last I saw, maybe an hour ago, someone posted in the Ring neighborhoods, like, I still don't have power. It's been a fucking
Yeah.
day now.
Well, it sucked too because when those systems started, it was what, like 3
Yeah.
o'clock yesterday, you know, and it knocked power out. Like I said, my brother lost his power at 3:30, and it just didn't stop
Yeah.
raining. So, and it was so heavy rain that they probably couldn't
I
really get out and look at anything or
until
really
the
do
rain
any
cleared up.
work, you know. And that wasn't until what, like midnight, 1 o'clock before they could even get out and really probably
Yeah.
assess everything. So, that really stunk for a lot of people. You really already had no power for, 9 or so hours. And then, now it's going to take whatever time it takes for them to restore everything. And
Yeah,
it's,
we let the dogs out. I changed out of my work stuff, and I'm like, been real busy this week at work, so I felt like I had a nice fine layer of grease over my whole body. But I'm like,
you should have just stood
well,
outside for a
this is in
couple
between
minutes.
storms. This is in the lull, and
Oh, okay.
I was like,
Oh, okay.
we don't have power. I'm hot and I'm hungry. We just have to go get food. Let's just, and
Yeah.
then we kind of did some driving. And we ended up over by Pavlov's because I'm like, they'll have a food truck. But I was trying to eat cheap. And Michelle was
Yeah.
like, well, what if I call Burgers? So I'm like, they're real close to our house. But I'm like, that's worth a shot.
Yeah.
And yeah, they had power. So we
Yeah.
ended up going to Burgers and getting some good
That's
food
good.
and a couple big dumb PBRs. But as we're
Nice.
sitting at the
Nice.
bar, like every time the phone rang, it'd be like, Burgers, how can I help you? And it's just like, yes, yep. Yeah, we do.
we're
We do. Like people are like, do you have power? I mean, the place is busy as fuck.
Sure. Well, like I told you, I mean, you got to stay hydrated.
Well, it's like that's what we were thinking.
Yeah.
Like food, I can get a couple beers and air conditioning. Okay.
Yeah. He's a little time. That's basically why my brother came over, because it was, because like I said, my other brother and my nephew were normally he would just go over to their house or something, but they were without power,
Yeah,
so he
couldn't do that.
really do that.
Wow.
Well, I could, but
yeah, we came back.
But also he needed to charge his phone because his phone was kind of
right.
low on power, and it sucks because he's in a real mess because his the port on his phone doesn't work right, so he can't plug his phone in.
Wireless.
He's got to use a tablet charger.
Yeah.
Right, and the wireless charger he has doesn't have a normal USB ending. It has a micro USB ending, and his car does not have a micro USB. It just has a USB. So, and he doesn't have an adapter of any kind, so he can't use his car to
He
charge
needs
his
to
phone.
step up his technology, it sounds
So
like.
that's what I told him. I said you need to get I said there's probably an adapter out there,
For sure.
that'll
Yeah,
let you do
absolutely.
that. I said so, and I said, and I'll bet if you look on Amazon, they're dirt cheap. I was like, you really should get one of those, because in the event of this kind of thing, you can go out and charge your phone in your car if you have to.
Yeah, like if I ever get some spare money, which, knock on wood or something, hopefully that's going to be happening sooner than later. But generator I would love to have, just because I was like, yesterday we got back and we didn't have power, so I got out the flashlight, we lit some candles, we're just sitting in the dark. We ended up sitting out on the front porch because it was cooler, and I'm just sitting there thinking like, fuck, I don't want to have to either leave again to go buy ice and empty my fridge and no cooler, or throw all this food away. I'm like, fuck. And then it was like getting to the point where, Michelle's like, all right, well, I'm going to grab the flashlight. I'm going to take my shower before bed, because, plumbing's not affected, obviously. And just as we were like starting to button up the house to go to bed, everything, because, we got all smart bulbs. When the power comes on, everything turns on. So it was just like my pupils snapped shut,
Yeah.
But I'm just so glad everything got turned on before we went, because it's like it would have been hot in the room,
Oh, for sure, dude. That's what my brother texted me when he got home, because at one point he was like, all right, I'm getting tired, I'm gonna go home. And I'm like, you're more than welcome to sleep on the couch here if you want. We got blankets and pillows, and I said, if you just want to crash here, have at it, because we had air
is good.
And he's like, no, I'm gonna go home. And I was like, okay, so when he got home, he texted me, and he's like, thank God he's like, my power's back on. I'm like, oh, awesome. Because, I was thinking the same thing as you. I was like, I wouldn't be able to sleep in that. I just probably be like, I'm just going to stay up because I'm miserable.
Like, honestly, the heat I would have been okay with, but it was so humid still. Yeah.
Exactly.
Oh, that stickiness. God. But yeah, that was something. I don't know what it is about my neighborhood. I know we got a bunch of old trees, but every time something powerful comes through, it just fucks everything up around here.
Yeah. Probably because of all those old trees. Probably a bunch of them probably need to be pruned
a bunch did.
way down. Yeah. Well, nature will do that, I guess, right?
Yeah, I mean, there's a guy up the road from us that he has one of those, trees where the trunk splits into two trees, and half of it came down, and it's laying in front of his house, maybe a foot away from everything, but it annihilated the neighbors. Wow. It's just like, oh, God, I'm so, like, where we are right now, we don't really have big trees that I'm worried about, like, dropping and hitting our house. Yeah,
which is good.
There's my one neighbor, she's got a pine tree that looks like it's dying, and if that thing falls, it would probably do something. I don't want that, but hopefully she'll take care of it.
Yeah.
But good Lord, man, what adventure that was yesterday.
Yeah.
It was a good time.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Yeah, I don't know what the power outages look like as far as like because I live technically, in Michigan, and the county I live in, I don't know what the power outages were there. I know in Lucas County alone, there was like 20,000 people lost power. And that was just Lucas. I'm sure that there were other outlying areas that lost quite a bit too.
Michelle told me today that I already said that, off and on through the day, we kept losing our power. But I'm assuming it's because the night before they're just like, let's just get lights back on. And now it's like, okay, let's fix everything right,
Yeah, well, you also...
I know. I feel like the same way.
You also had everybody like immediately probably firing back up their air conditioners.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Try and cool off the house a little bit. Usually when our power goes out, like when it comes back on, we try not to go like crazy on anything, because it's like there's still a good chance that they may not have it completely figured out. And I'd rather have a little power because, like you said, it's like you can deal with the heat and the humidity. I'd rather not have to throw away all the damn stuff in our fridge.
Yeah.
So, Yeah.
Yeah, man. Yeah, if
Anyway,
we would have went to bed and woke up and still I didn't have power, I would have been not a happy
crying.
camper for sure.
Yeah. I kind of figured, like, partway through the day, I was going to text you and see if you had power. And I'm like, odds are he would have texted me if he still
Yeah.
didn't have power at some point and be like, hey, things
Yeah.
aren't
Oh yeah,
looking
for
good.
sure.
So, because my brother was talking about coming over and we were going to go just hang out basically. And I was like, if we can podcast, we're podcasting because we've already put it off,
Yeah.
till Thursday. So I was like, we really don't want to, and there's a chance of more storms, I think, tomorrow. So it's like, I really don't want to risk this. And it's like, in fact, after we're done here, I'm going to record the crazy life. That way I get them both in the bag, so that, so that if we do have storms, I'm set for the week at least. So anyway, so enough weather chat. How else have you been?
Dude, it's been, I've been very busy this week. I don't like it. I mean, I do because I'm getting my hours in at work. I'm going in tomorrow for a little bit, but oh my God, just between like deck stuff still and work stuff and just how fucking hot it's been. Yeah, it's been a rough week. Like, and I'm still waking up in the middle of the night. Like, that's weird. Monday we didn't record because Leah stayed an extra day with me, which, whatever. Yeah. But then that night, I just woke up at 3:30 in the morning, couldn't go back to sleep, and then, went to work. And that's why I texted you, like, bro, this is going to suck. Yeah. And I like, when I got home, that night, I passed out on the couch for like 10 minutes, and I slept like a fucking log.
Yeah.
But then the storms came through and knocked out my power, so we couldn't record yesterday. So here we are on a Thursday.
Yeah, exactly. Well, that's the thing too, is it was like I knew the storms were coming, but I was like, it's like we've talked about this before. It's like when we record, when one or both of us are like low energy, it's no good. And I know somebody may be listening going, wait, you get this isn't low energy? No, this isn't us low energy. Like, there's been episodes, if you've been with us from the beginning, which congratulations.
I'm sorry as well.
Yeah. But there's been a few where we were like, afterwards, we were like, whew, I don't know.
That was a rough one. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, it was a thing.
Yeah, there's content, comedy.
Yep. Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, honestly, don't have a whole hell of a lot to talk about. Did watch the new Puss in Boots though. It's fucking terrific, bro. You should check it out.
I'm not gonna lie, from the commercials for it kind of made me laugh a few times, and I'm like, I'm probably gonna check this out. It's in my queue. It's on what, Peacock, I think, or
Netflix. It's on Netflix.
Netflix. Yeah, I have it in my queue because I was like, I'll throw it in there because it's one of those things. Because there's a lot of times later at night I'm looking for something to watch before I go to bed, and it's like I don't want to watch anything like real tense or anything, so that'll be a good thing to watch.
I mean, it does have a little tension here and there,
Well, I hope so. I mean, you gotta
but no, it was an entertaining movie. Like the fight scenes have a very Into the Spider-Verse vibe to them. Like the animation turns into a different frame rate or something,
Oh,
it's interesting. Okay. Yeah, I was like, huh. Yeah, it's I enjoy.
All of a sudden, it's just like two people holding cats and they're fighting.
And I can't remember. Did I talk about going to seeing Across Spider-Verse last week? It's all. But we went and saw Across Spider-Verse. Very great movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, so many little nods and memes through the whole thing too. Like Spooderman is in there. Yeah, it's
nice.
Good stuff. I highly recommend it. I mean, I'm sure you watched, Into the Spider-Verse. The
first one, yeah.
Yeah, I wanted to rewatch it, but it's on some platform right now that I don't have access to. So, yeah.
Oh, is it? It's not on Netflix anymore, huh? Oh, all right. I haven't looked for a while because it was on Netflix.
I thought it might have. I was like, well, maybe it's on Disney because they have all this like Tobey Maguire Spider-Man movies and all that.
No. Yeah. Not yet. It will be eventually, probably, but not yet. Yeah, they I think that's part of their deal with Sony. That way Sony basically shops their Spider-Man stuff around for, all over the place, making whatever money they can make off of it. You think Disney would just like, hey, we'll give you an ass ton of money to put it on Disney
You would
Plus,
think.
But
Well,
not so much.
The thing about like Into and Across the Spider-Verse is, like, I know with modern technology and CGI and all that digital whatnot, we can make some damn good looking superhero movies using actors.
Yeah.
But you just can't make them as good as an animated one.
Well, it's because
I'm sorry.
It's because we're used to it being a comic book, and these movies look like moving comic books.
Yeah.
Versus the other movies that don't. It's like, I'm sure you've seen the pictures of Hugh Jackman in the like classic Wolverine costume for Deadpool.
Yeah.
And it's like it's on one hand there's that there's that fanboy moment to where you're like, because you finally get to see the yellow and blue Wolverine costume on screen, but also it's like, yeah, that sometimes when you see the comic book costumes in the movies, you're like, yeah, they should have redesigned that.
Yeah, that looks so much better in print.
And it does. I mean, you can't help that. It's just some costumes just don't translate super well to the screen, but it's all right. I mean, it's still cool. I still love the idea of that they're using that, because with it being Deadpool, I'm sure there's going to be some silliness to it, similar to like in how they make the nods to it. And like, do you remember in, oh shit, what's the name of it? Luke Cage. Remember on that TV show when he's escaping and he has basically the classic costume on.
Oh yeah.
And he's like, like, I look ridiculous, and he's got like the thing on his head that's the tiara that he wore and everything, and it's like, that's a great moment for the fans to be like, oh, they did the thing with the classic, but
it's
then
a classic costume. Oh my god.
But he looks like way more of a badass when just like a t-shirt and jeans,
Right.
So, or Iron Fist, if they'd put him in that like super high collared costume they had him in.
I would love to see that.
Kind of like Nightwing, that one Nightwing costume where he's got that super high collar. It looks ridiculous.
It's to catch all the rain, It funnels it into his suit so it cools him off.
Oh, that makes sense. Yeah. That makes sense. I don't know why I hadn't thought about that. And that's why he doesn't wear it now. They have moisture wicking technology now.
It's true.
They didn't have that back then. Yeah. Wayne Tech hadn't quite invented it yet.
Yeah, he just had moisture funneling technology.
Unfortunately, it all collected at the balls and the taint.
Yeah, exactly. He just
right where you want it.
He just chafed every night defending Bloodhaven.
Yeah. It's like everyone raves about Nightwing's ass, but about how he's got the bubble ass, but it's like, yeah, but when he takes that suit off, it's just all like a big diaper rash.
Yeah, exactly. Those cheeks look like beef jerky.
Yeah, he's rubbing anti-monkey butt on his on all night.
Just has his utility belt.
Yeah. That's what half his utility belt is.
Just monkey butt lotion.
Yep. Well, speaking of Nightwing and monkey butt,
what?
the new season, or 3 episodes of the new season of Harley Quinn dropped.
Oh, okay.
And I was watching those last night. Jesus Christ! Like, there's actually an episode where they talk about Nightwing and his ass and stuff.
That's hilarious.
The show's so good, but the main reason I wanted to bring it up is, first of all, to remind people that it's out there and they should watch it. New episodes Thursdays, I guess. But there's a character named Snowflame in this show, and this is a character that actually is in DC canon.
Snowflame, huh?
Yes.
Okay, hold up.
And oh shit, this is not what I. Aw, damn it! I gotta pull this up differently here. Shoot. Anyway, so Snowflame is a character that gets his powers by snorting cocaine.
Oh, really?
And this is like I said, in
this is DC canon.
Like, this is in DC. This wasn't like created for the TV show kind of thing.
Wow.
And yeah, it says he's a, where is it? trying to think or find his whatnot here. I'm looking for his powers and abilities. There it is. Okay. But why doesn't it show his powers and abilities? There it is. He's capable of granting himself superhuman strength, speed, and immunity to pain, pyrokinesis, and the ability to give targets an instant contact high by inhaling cocaine.
That's hilarious.
Yeah.
I mean, who came up with this guy?
Where is it? Created by Steve Englehart and Carrie Bates. It says. So, yeah.
Wow.
1988. Go figure. He was created in the 80s.
That's shocking. White lines.
Because, like, when he first shows in the screen, you're like, I'm like, who the fuck's that guy? You know, because it's at the Legion of Doom. And I'm like, who the fuck is that guy? And then he's like, blah, blah, blah. And then you see him on, like, a mirror, and he's just got this white powder, and he just, you know, and I'm like, did he just fucking snort? And it's like, well, it's in Harley Quinn, so, of course, you know, it's possible. But,
yeah.
And I'm like, who the fuck is that? So I'm immediately on the Googles, like, who is this cocaine character, you know? And then I found, you know, like I said, that he exists in comic books as Snowflame, and he's just good comedic relief in the show.
Wow, that is fascinating.
Yeah, it's and I just chef's kiss to them for fucking finding that character and bringing him back to life, you know.
Snowflame.
Because I didn't even know that dude existed.
Wow. Yeah, that is fascinating, Brian.
Yeah. But also, like I said, you know, just the episodes are really good anyway. So
I mean, it's a fun show.
It is.
To be fair,
you can't go wrong with it. I'm shocked and so happy that it's gotten a 4th season.
Right.
Because you remember when it was like we weren't sure if it was going to get a 2nd season, and then the 3rd. You know, it's like each season with that show is like, I've seen people online already that are like, "Oh, James Gunn, please do a TV show based on Snowflame, like they did with Peacemaker."
Oh yeah, that'd be great.
And and like Kite Man is going to get his own series. Like there's going to be, at least as of last time I checked, there were still plans to do a Kite Man series.
Also fascinating.
Like I believe it, you know, an animated series.
Yeah, for sure.
And that's all I need for Snowflame. It's just a nice animes of him doing really dumb shit based on his cocaine stuff. Although I feel like they've probably taken the character to where he's probably supposed to be a super badass in real comics, but
right.
on this show, of course, he's just like
he's a meme.
Yeah. So good
shit
though.
I want to see. I need to see some artwork of someone getting Snowflame and Dr. Roxo together.
Yeah.
Like in a club bathroom or something, you know?
Yeah. That'd be a great, like, you know, if they could do a cameo like that, that'd be fantastic. Have Dr. Roxo just kind of performing at a club, and, you know, Snowflame's there, and then they both happen to be doing coke in the bathroom or in the VIP or something like that.
Yeah, exactly. It'd be perfect.
Yeah.
Fucking Dr. Roxo.
Cocaine.
So,
yeah,
that is fascinating.
I finished watching Secret Invasion last night because this week was the finale.
Nice.
And I gotta say, I feel like this is not a show everybody needs to watch. I don't. It's fine, you know. The hell's that?
I think Bomber and the Cat are going at it.
Oh, okay. Well, that'll happen, I guess.
Yeah.
But they really wanted to create like a tense thing with, you know, the scrolls and all that. But because it's only 6 episodes, it kind of has to finish really fast.
Right.
You know, and I thought most of the last episode was probably the best stuff in the series.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Without giving anything away in case people do want to watch it. But the part that sucks about doing this as a TV show and not really having superheroes in it was the fact that in the comic, what made the tension so high was you didn't know who was a Skrull and who wasn't a Skrull.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought each week there was going to be some big reveal, like holy shit each week. And there kind of wasn't really. They kind of lay out what's going on. So when they reveal some of it, you're just like, oh yeah, I saw that coming.
Like, great.
You know what I mean? Like that. So it was I thought at some point you would really have to question whether Fury himself was a Skrull, kind of a thing, or and it's like, I'm not really giving much away, but it's like in the first episode, I think it is, like one of the Skrulls impersonates Fury, but it's like that's basically it. The rest of the time, for sure Fury is Fury, basically, all the way through.
What I'm picking up on this, Brian, is Secret Invasion just wants to be Battlestar Galactica.
Yeah, honestly. So I don't know. It was all right. Like I said, it wasn't that it was bad. It was just like there's a couple characters that I really like in it and stuff, but it was just and I assume it's probably just to be the bridge between a certain point in the Marvel universe and to set up a little bit, because spoiler alert, at the end he talks about how the Skrulls and the Kree are going to have a peace meeting. So that could be setting something up down the road, but it's just like, other than that, I'm just like, like I said, it was fine. If it's one of those things, I wouldn't like break my neck to go watch it.
Fair enough.
But if some point, if you get to it, you get to it, and it's fine to watch. But it's not one that I would be like, dude, I have to watch. It's like there's other stuff to watch.
I want to see the Skrulls have a secret meeting with Creed and not the Kree. Yeah.
Yes. Well, speaking of
Creed, this one.
Yeah. Do you see this one? Yeah. Creed announced that they're reunited, and their first performance will be a 6-day cruise dedicated to 2000s rock. So the question is, I mean, are we going to go with arms wide open or what?
I know Snowflame's like, can you get me higher?
I know, right? I assume Nickel already is already bought tickets.
I would like to know who all is on this 90s music cruise.
That's a good point.
Let me see. Let me do a quick Goog.
Yeah.
Creed.
Yeah, I was just
90s.
I was just scrolling through the comments to see if by chance anything mentions it, but I don't see anything.
I mean, they must have thrown them a shit ton of money. You know what I'm saying?
Well, it's not. Yeah, probably.
Yeah, to be on a 6-day cruise.
It's also, I can't even imagine how awful that must be for these people sometimes. Right. Especially a band like Creed. I mean, you assume most people are going to be favorable to you, but as we've seen in plenty of other things, people sometimes buy. Oh, here we go. I got the list right here. Yeah. Wow. 3 Doors Down, Buck Cherry, Tonic, Fuel, Vertical Horizon, The Verve Pipe, Tantric, and 9 Days, among others.
I also have Dishwalla, Louise Post of Veruca Salt.
Okay, wow.
Wow, cheapest room. Goddamn pop-up ads. Cheapest room for 2 people is $995 a person.
Wow.
A person.
That's so much money to spend to see Creed.
Well, and 10 other fucking bands or whatever, right?
Honestly, there's a few. I mean, here's the thing. If I was on there, on that cruise, which will never happen, but, there's a few of those bands I'd at least want to be, want to go yell Freebird at them, basically, like play your hit.
Yeah. Wow. The old 90s rock and roll cruise.
A band like, I don't know, pick one of them, 3 Doors Down, let's say. They get up there and they're like, okay, we're going to play stuff from our new album. And everyone's like, boo.
Superman.
Kryptonite.
Whatever.
Like, play Kryptonite or we're keel hauling you. Like, all right.
Water's Edge.
As soon as no. That is not the right band.
No, just start yelling like 90s hits at him. Like, that's not even us. We don't care.
Like, that's Tonic. They're on next. If you could only see.
Boy, none of these. I'm looking. I got a picture of current Creed pulled up, and none of these guys look happy to be sitting up against this wall.
No, yeah, that wall looks pretty uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Either that or it's because they, maybe they forced them to.
Yeah, they're all
like. Were they like court ordered to get back together? So that's what the picture kind of looks like.
So you must have the same picture up.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know what's going on there, but wow.
Yeah. I mean, good for them, because I don't know what everybody else was doing. So.
Yeah.
Where is it? During the hiatus, Stapp released his second and third solo albums, while Tremonti has regularly released music as the leader of the collective Tremonti, among other side projects. Yeah, and I bet every song, as soon as you hear it, you're just like, oh, yeah, this is Creed. Oh, no, This is just Tremonti. Okay.
Scott Stapp, if his band or his album isn't called Stapp Infection, he's doing it wrong. I'm just saying.
Can't Stapp, won't stab.
Exactly.
Stapp in the Name of Love. Do you imagine if all his songs were just puns of his name?
Brian, I can actually.
Oh my God, that'd be so good. Oh, I'd laugh so hard at that. Because just for not taking himself seriously would be,
it would be
so good.
But I feel like he takes himself way too seriously.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
He for sure does. There's been stories over the years of people not respecting his talent, basically, or like he very much like a "Do you know who I am?" moment.
Like, yeah, you built your own prison, bitch.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah,
right.
for show.
I mean, yeah. Oh my God! So we need is a complete list of this. We need to listen to these and do a music podcast on these bands.
Of the bands or of the Stapp singles?
Well, we'll just. Oh God, that too. I mean, I was just thinking we do a summer of '99 podcast here where we just talk about these massive bands. Although, in fairness, like I said, I mean, I admittedly owned CDs by Creed, Three Doors Down, Tonic, Fuel. I don't think I own maybe Tantric, but I don't think I own theirs. A Verve Pipe, I never bought the album because they only had like one song.
So, right.
Vertical Horizon, I don't think I ever did.
What about Louise Post of Veruca Salt?
No, I actually didn't care for Veruca Salt.
Yeah, they had that one song.
So I did not own it.
Whatever that was.
I don't remember the name
exactly.
of it. Shit. I mean, it got some play, but it's just I don't. Yeah.
Yeah, I hear you.
Man. All right. Well, there you go. I mean, everybody get super excited to get your tickets for next April for the Summer '99
April?
cruise.
For my birthday? Oh my God! Do you think they're gonna give me a birthday ticket?
Yeah, probably. If not, head on over to patreon.com/saltylanguage and help Tony get on this cruise, brother. So he can record or report from it. Maybe get some interviews.
I'll just be walking up to all these bands, just yelling "Possum Kingdom."
Oh man, there are so many of those bands, and I know it happens all the time in music, right? But there were so many bands in the mid to late '90s that had one hit, and then you basically never heard from them again. And it wasn't even a huge hit. It was just more of most likely the radio stations we listened to, And then they ended up opening up for some bigger band or toured together, as is tradition. I mean, yeah. I mean, I saw Tonic years ago because they played downtown for free. Because a guy that came into it was when we had our shop, because Art that used to come into our shop, he was a fan of Tonic, and I was like, "Hey, Tonic's doing a free show." I was like, "We should go to Tonic," and he was like, "Yeah, we should." Band
breakdown or just trying to get gas money or something?
Yeah, basically. It was a good time,
Free concert.
Free concert.
I mean, I did see that they're.
I knew their songs because, like I said, I owned, I owned the album, so I at
That's
least
good.
knew the songs.
They're reopening Frankie's over on the east side, which is cool. Yeah.
Stop that. Yeah. I haven't been in that
I
place
know.
in like
Same
1,000
here. Been
years.
forever. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I know it was shut down for a while too, because it became a dump.
That
basically,
whole side of town's coming back thanks to the metro parks and
yep.
what's that word I'm looking for?
The gays.
No, not.
Oh no, that's Adams Street. No, I mean, there's no disrespect to that. Like Adams Street.
I know. It's just,
but
that's not what I was expecting. Because of the gays.
Yeah.
No.
There's great stuff for that.
It's that word when you push the poor people out.
Yes,
that's
gentrification.
it.
Okay.
I know. I
close.
could have been like starts with G. The gays.
Yeah, I was starting alphabetically. I would have got to gentrification soon enough. It's GE,
Yeah, that's what's going on over there now. That's true.
I mean, our friend Garrett would have been coming soon. I skipped him and went right to the gays. So, yeah.
Oh man.
Man. So, I went to the fruit and vegetable store up the road here the other day, right? And as I'm walking around,
excellent.
Yeah, I'm walking around, and I'm grabbing some green beans, some fresh green beans, and this guy's standing there with his wife and daughter, and the wife's like, also grabbing green beans, and he goes, like, don't get those. Those won't be ripe. And in my head, I'm going, the fuck are you talking about? They're green beans. Like,
won't be ripe.
Yeah, I've been buying green beans at that place for months. They're fine. They taste delicious. So I'm like, okay, whatever, and I just kind of shake my head, keep getting my beans, and I'm like, I just need to get away from this idiot. So of course, right as I'm going over to pick my apples, right next to the beans were tomatoes. And then he's like, the beans won't be ripe. He's like, just like the tomatoes. He's like, you got to give them another week. He's like, they're not ripe yet. And in my head, I'm going, no, they're not going to be ripe because they're hothouse tomatoes. They're all going to taste like shit.
You're not wrong.
Like, I'm buying some because I still like to have a tomato on a sandwich or something. But it's like, I know these are not the same quality as the ones that are just now starting to show up in our garden, So, and I'm just shaking my head because it's like, no, those tomatoes are ripe. They're fine. You just have to understand they're hothouse tomatoes. They're not going to be real flavorful. They taste watery. And it's just, again, I'm just shaking my head. I'm like, I need to just, get over to get my Cosmic Crisp apples. And I get over there. And of course, they're like blocking my way and whatever. And I'm like, grab my apples real quick, go to the next aisle. And over in the next aisle, they have like papaya. And his daughter's like, ooh, can I get some papaya? And he, those aren't going to be any good either. And in my head, I'm going,
yeah, what do you know,
like,
bro?
you're walking through. Yeah, and so this guy that works at the store turns and goes, if they weren't ripe, we wouldn't put them out.
Hey, bud, fuck you.
Yeah, basically. So, no, this gets better. There's one more step here. So then, I go over to get some bananas. And over by the bananas, they have a big table of, like, cantaloupe. And the guy walks up and he's like, hey, to his wife, he's like, we should get a cantaloupe. And she goes, oh, yeah, we should get some cantaloupe. And he's like, I don't know how to pick one, though. And I'm like, oh, Johnny knows when everything else is ripe, he knows when a fucking papaya is ripe, but doesn't know how to pick a cantaloupe? My ass. Like, people in this area didn't even know what a papaya was until probably a few years ago.
Is that one of them third world fruits or something?
It's like, come on. No, it's just like, Jesus. It's like, I know how to pick a cantaloupe, and it's like, I could have went over and helped, but fuck that guy.
I agree. Fuck that guy.
And I'm just like, Jesus Christ. Like, how do you're claiming you know all this other shit, but you have no clue how to pick a cantaloupe.
I've never heard ripe and green beans in the same sentence before.
Right? I know. That was the first thing. I was just like, this dude's an idiot. Also, they're green beans. You can look at them and tell if they're ready. Like, 'cause they look like green beans.
Wait, what? Slow down. Hold on. Who is this man of science I'm talking to?
Yeah. Now, if the one thing I will say is because they just have them in these big containers, is that, like, you do have to be careful that sometimes they start going bad in those containers, right? So you have to kind of look, but it's like I just get big fucking handfuls and when I
If
get
it's
home,
bad,
I
you get
just,
rid of it.
root through them. Yeah, I just don't even worry about it. Because I wash them off real good and everything, and they're gonna be cooked anyways. I'm not just eating them generally, so. But I just like this guy, and I'm just after that with the cantaloupe. I just started laughing, like I couldn't, and so I probably look like a complete like psycho. I'm all by myself, and I just start laughing because this guy's so. But the guy who was stocking the stuff that said something to him, I think, I kind of looked over at him and he just kind of shook his head a little bit. And I was like, all right, well, at least my guy over here gets it, And it's funny because he wasn't like, here, let me show you how to pick a cantaloupe. He was also like, fuck that guy.
Exactly.
Man, I had a shit, like, it was a rough day. I went from there, went over to Kroger to do the next round of shopping, get in there, dig out my AirPods, put them in my ears, fucking dead.
Don't you hate that shit?
And I'm like, oh, are you kidding me? So I, open the case and hold it next to my phone to check the power level. Case is dead.
What's
like,
my favorite, Brian?
Everything's
is when
dead.
you pop them out and you put them in your ears, and just like the right one kicks on. You're like, what the hell? And you look at the screen on your phone. You're like, oh, the left one's not even showing up. It wasn't charging in the case. God damn it.
Right. Well, I thought about pulling the move of my man from a few weeks ago. Remember, I told you he just had his phone up by his ear and he was jamming. Like, I should have just done that. But, yeah, that was brutal. I had to go through the store with, no noise.
I truly am sorry about that.
Music. Just crying. Yeah, just sobbing, walking around the store. It's pretty awful.
I mean, I used to think that I was like a people person and stuff. But man, when I go out in public and go shopping, I'm like, I could totally understand if someone just started stabbing people. Like, I get it. I feel it. I just don't follow through.
Yeah, you really do get those urges to just roundhouse kick people at times. It's pretty terrible.
Yeah.
It's like I'm like, I get up in line and I have a heaping cart of stuff, right? And I'm like, well, naturally the store has one checkout open that's not a U-scan. And I'm not going through the U-scans when I have all the things because there's just no room, And then I was like, oh, wait, they have the line I get into. I see that there's some holdup at the checkout. And I'm like, oh, man. By the way, hold out at the checkout. That's my new alt band.
I like it. It's a great name.
So I'm like, oh, I see that they've got the U-scans open. They had the full conveyor belt thing. And I was like, awesome. I'll just go use one of those, because I don't give a shit about using the U-scans, So I get over there, and woman in front of me, the poor lady, everything she's putting in her cart, she had a toddler in the cart, and he's turned around and he's just grabbing everything. So she has to keep swatting his hands and pushing the bags down as she's trying to just load
put
the damn
bag
cart
over the baby. Problem solved.
No, you're probably not supposed to do that in public. So she's like, I'm so sorry. I'm like, don't worry about it. It's, I'm like, I'm not really in a hurry. It's like I've already had to endure this whole store with no music. So
you're stuck with that thing for 17 years. So good luck to you.
Yeah. So, she gets out of the way. I start. Oh, I'm sorry. While I was in line before, the people in front of me were, there's this guy and his, I don't know, girlfriend, wife, whatever. And they've got maybe 10 things in their cart. And in my head, I'm like, go the fuck over to the U-scan. Get out of my way. When, I think I've talked about this, I'm sure, before. It's like, when you don't have much, go to the U-scans because you'll get out of the store faster,
for sure.
Typically, right? When you have a lot of shit, don't go to the U-scans because you're clogging up progress. Go to the checkout line kind of a thing. That's how I feel like that's what it should be. I feel like the U-scan should be for 10 or 15 items or less. Otherwise, you got to go get in the long ass line. Sorry about your luck, but you have 9,000 things, You're going to be here a while.
Well, do you remember when U-scans used to be that way? It was 20 items or less, and now they're just fucking Wild West, bro. Let's do this.
Well, the stores don't. And what's happened with the U-scans is what's part of the cost of the U-scans is they've gotten rid of express lanes. They don't exist really anymore. And it sucks when you're in line. You walk up to a thing in a store and you have one or two things, and everybody in front of you's got like 9,000 things, and it's like, really? Like, how do you not have at least one U-scan that's just for short list, stuff?
I have a life
But
hack for this situation. Crime.
Hammer. Yeah, you're right. Just run out of the store. So the guy looks at the cart and he goes, "Come on, let's just go over the U-scan. There's like 3 of them open." And the woman's like, "Well, I don't work here. I'm not
knew
scanning
you were
my
gonna say
fucking
that
groceries."
shit.
And he just looks at her and he goes, "Come on, I'll fucking scan them." And grabs the cart and just goes. And I'm like, good, because it's like people need to get over this shit. Like, look, I don't like the fact that U-scans are taking completely over, because it does, especially when you get a lot of stuff at the grocery store now, it leads to longer trips now, but the way to get around that, order your shit online, just go show up and pick it up and leave.
Like my big hang up is, we went to Target a couple weeks ago and they had that bank of like 4 U-scans over on Monroe Street.
Yeah.
Well, now they've taken some of their other like normal checkout lanes and converted them to U-scans. And I'm looking at it and I'm like, see, and I know, people don't want to work. They should get paid more. They definitely should. Yeah.
Which is bullshit.
People do want to work. They just want to get paid for it.
Get adequately paid.
Yeah. But it's legitimately like taking cashier jobs away. And that bothers me.
The thing is, though, me too, but that isn't going to go backwards.
Not. The door's open. Pandora's box has been opened.
Well, like I was telling my brother about this, and I was like, it's like people need to get over this shit because of this reason and this reason only. And I know that a lot of people, well, if we resist it, it'll happen slower or whatever, and it won't. It's the second a company figures out a way to automate something, they're going to, because it's way cheaper in the long run. And that's just, that's just how the world is now, unfortunately. And U-scans have been around for how many years now?
Probably
20 years.
Yeah.
At least, more than that, whatever. So it's like, we need to just get over it and just start embracing them and using them. I get it. Like, some people are very confused by the U-scans and have trouble with them. So I'm okay with them getting in line, because they're the ones that they remind you of the people who used to pay with check at the grocery store. It takes you like an hour to get through. But like this one, it was like they have 10 things. Seriously, like they were done before I even started scanning my stuff in that other line. That's how quick, because that guy clearly uses the U-scan. So he's just beep, 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 and he's done. And it was like I said, it's like, I get that people want the employees to pay it, and you don't feel like you should have to scan your own blah, blah, blah. But it's like, think about it this way, right? You go into a store, no employee loads your cart for you unless you order online. You still have to do all that shit. You have to unload it. It's like, what the fuck difference does it make? Just scan your shit.
Yeah, I look at it as a whatever's most convenient for me. Like if I have like 15 things, you scan. If I got a bunch of shit, I'm like, I already picked all the stuff up once. Now I got to pick it up again. I'm not going to bag it myself too.
That's the thing. For me, usually it's about the bagging. Is that because like when I'm using that long scanner that I used yesterday, the part that sucks is like toward the base of it. Once a certain area gets full, it's like, unclogged bagging area. And it's like, so I had to go down, bag shit, set it on the floor, because you can't have it in that area because it'll tell the thing that it's clogged. So I had to set it on the floor because I still had shit in my cart. Now I have to go back, scan more stuff, stop, go do that again, and it's like, this is a real stupid way of doing this. You need to change these sensors, because there's this long conveyor belt, but only the bottom like 2 feet, if there's stuff in it, it'll tell it that it's clogged. But the conveyor belt's like 5 feet long. It's like, you could easily let your sensor go 2 or 3 more feet up and not be a problem here. And it was like, so anyway, but it was just like I said, it's like, I understand it. Most of the time, if I know I got a bunch of shit, I will just order it online, because then someone else can go do all the shopping for me. All I got to do is just show up,
look
leave,
pretty, get my shit.
Yeah. Well, also, I don't have to load it in the car and all, it's like, I just, when I get home, it's one time I'm unloading it. So it's, like I said years ago on here, I remember I bitched years ago about how like grocery shopping or shopping in general is like the most inefficient thing, because you have to go to the store, load your cart, unload it at the checkout, reload it at the checkout, unload it into your car when you get home, and then unload it into your house. It is like the craziest thing, but I don't know that there's a
Not
much better
really.
way for it. That's having someone else shop and all that eliminates all that except for taking it out. And they're getting paid for that. So, and I know that's what the stores want. They want, if you're going to buy a bunch, they want you to do it that way. If you're not buying much, they want you to go through the U-scan. That's really their ideal setup. But unfortunately, there's always going to be people that are, I'm not going to order my shit online, and which I get.
I don't mind going shopping except for all the fucking people, because I like perusing. I like going this is we were at Meijer today, and I was like, oh, this is hilarious. They got Yo Mama's marinara sauce, and I look at the jars, and that's what I like to do.
Yeah.
I'm going to become an old doddering fool in a store reading everything.
You're going to be the person that I want to just take an empty cart and wang you in the head with.
I'm reading all the different sauce
jars, moseying around,
looking for the story.
Yeah. Yeah, and I'm just trying to get my, my Meijer brand pasta sauce.
Exactly, Fredericks or whatever it is.
Yeah. Hey, have you seen? They have onion in this now.
So it all.
I don't fucking care.
It all started in 1862. Wow, that's fucking dope.
Would you move? I just want to get my John Mayer tomato sauce. Oh, dude! Speaking of tomato sauce, this is so my brother's over yesterday, and I had some meat from chopped cheese left. And we were both kind of tired of chopped cheese.
That's bullshit.
So I was like, you know what? I'll just turn this into spaghetti. Because it's just salt, pepper, and garlic garlic powder on the meat. That'll be delicious.
You make chopped spaghetti on garlic bread?
Yeah, basically. Oh, that's a good idea. No, I didn't. Anyway, so I did that, and we ate off of it the one night. My brother's here last night, and my mom's like, are you hungry? Because, we got spaghetti, and he was like, oh, yeah, sure, I'll take some spaghetti, So, and then also up at the vegetable store, they had these massive bags of broccoli florets for like 99 cents. So I steamed a bunch of broccoli up. And so I hand him the broccoli. And then a minute later, he goes, can I have all of this? And I'm like, sure, because there wasn't much broccoli left in the container. And then after he microwaves it, and he's sitting down to eat, I realized what he meant was the spaghetti. And he ate probably 4 servings of spaghetti. I thought he meant, can I kill the broccoli? Because there was probably about, a cup and a half of broccoli there. And I'm like, yeah, for sure. I got plenty more. And he meant the spaghetti. And there was like, one of those containers. Well, you can't see it, but that are big bowl type plastic full of that stuff. I was like, oh, so I told my mom, I was like, just so you know, I was like, this is my bad because I misunderstood. But he killed off the spaghetti.
He's like, can I have this? Yeah, of course you can. He just starts emptying the fridge into a cooler. Like, wait, what are you doing?
Because I took the took the meat, a little jar, took sauteed some onion, a little more onion and mushroom and green pepper, and then put the meat in there to kind of let the fat that was with the meat kind of flavor everything. And then little Italian put the sauce in there, a little Italian seasoning, some garlic, kind of pep it up a little bit because that kind of little red pepper flake, and then put the pasta in there, and it was good. It was very garlicky, but that's fine with me, Yeah. But it was just funny how I was like, oh, okay, well, next time I'll have to remember to look and be like, oh no, please don't eat all of it. Like maybe leave us half of that or something.
You goddamn animal.
Yeah, savage. Well, it was funny too, because usually after about 6 o'clock at night, if he eats, he'll only eat like a salad or like a piece of bread, basically. Like he doesn't eat a whole lot after 6 or 8 o'clock kind of a thing. It was like 10 o'clock. And I mean, he fucking housed that food. So
interesting.
I was like, that's gotta be wrecking his because he does the fasting.
Yeah, if it's
and he's a real he's a real goober about stuff like that. Like, you know, if he doesn't fast as long as he thinks he should, he thinks it makes this huge difference in how he feels and all that. And it's like, oh, dude, stop it.
Yeah,
It's one day, you know? Yeah. It's, I mean, unless you eat like absolute trash, you know, coming off of it, then it's probably more what you eat than, yeah. And it wrecks you. It's because you're just like, your body's like, I need all the sustenance and like, you know, good sustenance. And you're like, you know what? Here's what I'm going to give you.
We're about ready to go down on Little Debbie for an hour and a half. So cheers to that, you know.
Yeah. Amen. So whatever. But yeah. So this week also, I got my first time ever. I got locked out of Twitter for 12 hours. I saw that.
You mean X, Brian?
Yeah.
Do you mean X? I'm so confused.
Yes. Oh, I'll get to that. So I got locked out because someone posted a thing basically saying, how do you people keep your in-ear earbuds from falling out? You know, they were having a lot of trouble. You know, and most people are really helpful with like, oh, you got to make sure you get the right size. I don't know what they're called. Condoms. Those rubber things around there. Yeah. Yeah. Put them in a condom and cram it in your ear. Yeah. But you know, they're like, you got to make sure you use the right ones because a lot of them will have multiple sizes you can choose from or what. You know,
sometimes you need a Magnum, sometimes you don't. Yeah.
Right. Exactly. You know, if you have giant ear canals or tiny ear canals, you know, you just got to accordingly. So, I mean, you know, most of us just, you know, I don't even use them. I just raw dog. No. But anyway, you know, so me being the smart ass I am, and it's somebody I've interacted with plenty of times. So it wasn't just being a normal like internet creep or reply guy, but I was like, just wrap tape around your head, meaning put them in your ears and wrap tape around your ears, basically. Right. And I got locked out because I apparently violated their suicide/self-harm rule because I suggested that she wrap tape around her head. And it's like, I didn't say, you know,
cut off your air supply.
Yeah, kill yourself. I didn't say, and it's like, listen, I do a fucking podcast on mental health. They don't know that, but it's still the idea. And I've been on Twitter for like 15 years, never, ever, ever really been part of any controversy. This is the first time ever I've even gotten, like, I got DM jailed once, and that was when Tate and I first started talking because we hit it off so well. We just wouldn't shut up. So we were just DM, you know, and stupid us. We should have just been like, hey, let's just text, you know,
whatever,
or, you know, whatever. At the time, there was probably Kick or something, you know, it's like, let's use something where we're not going to get in jail. Because I remember getting myself put in DM jail and switching over to the Salty Language account and DMing with her because her and I were just cracking each other up, you know. So that's the only time I ever got put in DM jail. And it was just like, it's like, Jesus Christ. Like, I just couldn't believe it. You know, for 12 hours, I wasn't allowed to like, share, post.
Can't keep your earbuds in?
So
kill yourself.
Yeah, right. That's the way they interpreted it. And meanwhile, I'm like, and so she didn't even know because it didn't even show her the comment. The comment didn't, like, I had to delete the comment as part of my penance. So, and I posted, you know it because I posted it on Instagram and Threads and Blue Sky. You know, I was like, so basically to let anyone know if they try to talk to me on Twitter, I can't, you know, for a certain amount of time. And the woman who it was, she goes, wait, was this on my comment? You know, my thing? And I was like, yep. And she's like, oh my God, I never even, I'm like, yeah, as soon as I clicked send, the thing popped up and was basically like, you violated me.
How dare you, sir?
And I appealed it. And the thing is, like, you know, when you appeal this shit, you're not talking to a person. It's just going through an AI thing. Because it's like, if you could talk to a person, I could be like, look, also, let me point you toward the mental health podcast I do. I'm for sure the last person who's actually going to tell someone to harm themselves.
Give you a word called context.
Yeah. But because it's a bot, you can't give it context. So whatever. But yeah, real quick summary on the whole X thing is such a load of shit. Like, it's a stupid name that he was told no on years ago with PayPal. When he was on their board, he wanted to change PayPal's name to X, and everyone was like, "You're an idiot," and voted him off the board. And I'm not exaggerating.
Yes.
That's what happened. Because X sounds stupid. I've read today that I forgot what there's a couple countries to where now Twitter is blocked because of their porn filters in those countries, because basically anything that has an X to it is considered porn. You know, they may be able to get that worked around. But it was like the police, when they changed the logo on the building, the police had to come out because whatever it was illegal. Right. Meta and Microsoft co-share the patent, or not the patent, the copyright for X as far as social media stuff goes. So at some point they can cease and desist the shit out of him, and he can't money his way out of that one necessarily, because we're talking about Microsoft and Facebook. You know, so they have all the money also. So, you know, and for sure, if I'm Zuckerberg, I'm for sure pushing a cease and desist through, just because fuck Elon, you know. And it's like, he's got this whole thing. I don't know if you've seen it, to where he's like, oh, it's going to be this, and it's going to be this like global payment system. And it's like, dude, you fired off all of the security team from Twitter. There's no fucking way I would give you my financial information. Not a fucking chance. That's why I wouldn't even be like, it's the main reason I'm not going to get verified anyway on that stupid site. But it's like, even if I considered it, that would be my reason to stop, because they fired most of their security team. He is such a fucking idiot. And by, you know, the logo that they picked, I haven't even gotten into this, is Johnny Graphic Design. It's monotype. It's an actual font. It's just the X from the font. There's a good chance they didn't pay Monotype for the use of that font. And Monotype could shut it down because they own the rights to that font. And it reminds me of about 3 other logos that I've seen, at least 3. I've seen more people post other things over time, but it immediately reminded me of 3 other logos that I've seen. And it was just like, Jesus Christ, like, it's just such a shit show, you know. And there's so many people on Twitter that are like, people just need to quit complaining, you know, he's got a vision. It's like, quit sucking his dick. He doesn't. His vision is fucking stupid. He's taking a brand that was reputable and running it square into the ground.
You know, Musk started really making waves? People are like, he's like Tony Stark.
Yeah.
Is he?
Yeah. No. You know, the thing is, I think he thinks he's Tony Stark because of this. I remember years ago, there was I think it was a Brian Michael Bendis run on Iron Man. And basically Tony Stark was trying to create basically a thing to where people would be dependent on their Stark phone, and it would do all sorts of things for them, basically. And it would all be tied into one app. And I think somehow Elon Musk got a hold of this and was like, this is brilliant. I'm going to do this. And not understanding that that isn't how the world works, because he's so rich, no one tells him no, or that he's an idiot, you know?
Or if they do, they get fired.
Like, yeah, exactly. Right. It's like, there was a thing I read the other day that said that by scrapping the Twitter logo and name, that he probably devalued Twitter by somewhere between $4 and $20 billion. Right. Because that logo and think about it, right? Like, the word tweet and retweet have become part of people's lexicon. Now you have to relearn this, which I'm not saying you can't, but it's the idea that you just, when you have a trusted brand, you don't fuck with that.
I haven't been a giant Twitter user in a while now, but this makes it even less. I'm like, I have no interest except for our little group chat. Well, and if everyone in that group chat was like, hey, we're moving here, I'd be like, cool. You know?
Dude, I'll tell you what, as soon as Threads or Blue Sky, probably more so Threads, if they add a DM situation and group kind of thing, it'll really hurt Twitter. And they just sent a thing on Threads the other day that there's new functions coming very soon. And if I'm Musk, or not Musk, I mean, if I'm Zuckerberg, I'm like, you better fucking get a DM system in place now, because we can probably put some real death nails in Twitter, you know. Because the other day they did a thing on Twitter to where now there's DM limits. And again, they say it's to cut down on bot behavior, but it's hilarious because I don't get bots DMing me very often. You know? And it's like a lot of people have groups on there that are communities that have been like, I've got a group on Twitter I've been on for probably 12, 13 years. I've been part of this group, maybe longer. You know, it's like we're like friends, you know, we've built something there. And if you know, if Twitter keeps going the way it is, we'll probably move it over to Instagram, because they have a group.
Yeah, that's why I
thing,
don't
you know?
see why Threads wouldn't have a DM type situation. Oh, sorry, this chair's killing my ass.
Yeah.
Because you know,
right. And
it's
pretty
same
soon.
people or whatever. It's all under the same umbrella.
Yeah. And it's smart because, like I said, it'll really hurt Twitter. And like I said, this shit kills me, man, because you know how much I've always been Johnny Twitter, you know. But I just like I said, you know, anyone I talk with about this is like, this is just Elon Musk is just really showing his ass in there, you know. And it's like, dude, you're devaluing a trusted. Like, it reminds me of like when Hollywood gets a hold of a script. Like, and they're like, oh, this is fantastic, we'll take it, and they buy it. And then they're basically like, does the lead have to be a white woman? Can't it be like a red dog?
Yeah, exactly.
You know, and you're like, well, no, it's really important that it's her, because she's learning about this and this, and her, you know, that white people need to learn about or something. And they'll go, yeah, but
you know, Clifford,
does she? Yeah, no. Exactly, right. And it's like, yeah. And they just bastardize the script. They just rip all the things out of it and put whatever they want into it, and it becomes its own monster. And that's what this reminds me of. Or like I posted the other day, I was like, you know, if I ever get rich enough, I'm going to buy the NFL and charge the players for playing football, and then, you know, not be able to figure out why the USFL is all of a sudden a thriving brand. Right. You know, because it's like people are like, I don't get Threads. And I'm like, yeah, you know why? Because you're new to Twitter. If you were around Twitter for a long time, you remember when the site was pre all politics, and the site was a lot of fun, and it was a great communal kind of thing. And it was on its way down, you know, because of politics. And it's like, the thing is, when Musk took over, I was like, instead of making it more political, it would have been awesome if he would have found a way to make it less political. Then people would have loved the site again. But instead, he decided to let pedophiles and conspiracy theorists and all these QAnon assholes and everything have their accounts back, you know? So it's like I said, there's nothing within me. And then I saw a report today, apparently, that it looks like Tesla has been covering up more problems that were going on.
Yeah.
It's like, see what I mean? It's like everything he touches, basically. PayPal thrived more after he was gone. You know, and that's probably not because of him either way, but it's the idea. It's more because of like eBay took over PayPal for a long time. But Jesus Christ, like seriously, if you're listening and you are a bootlick of his, please take a step back and really look at this. Like, first of all, we shouldn't be worshiping anybody
except the Salty Language Podcast.
Nobody except Salty Language Podcast.
Golden gods right here.
And the way and the way you worship is by going to patreon.com/salty. Anyway, that's enough of that.
Moving on.
So, did you see that there is French's and Skittles apparently have teamed up to make mustard Skittles?
Stop.
I'm not kidding.
Hasn't science gone too far?
Yeah, this is where we were too busy wondering if we could and not wondering if we should. So on their website, they have a thing where you can enter to try to win some. And of course I did not win, but I've entered it. So hopefully I win that, we can
Skittles.
Try the podcast.
The fuck are you doing?
Yeah. Apparently they say people have been demanding these, which I don't buy. I don't know anybody who's like, dude, mustard is so good. Like on a sandwich, sure. On a hot dog, something like
Just
that,
to have it
absolutely.
in
You know,
candy
but
form, fuck off.
yeah. I mean, I guess there's the mustard Doritos, but that's still a chip. There's still a little
Just the
difference in
thought of
that, you
these
know.
is making me go like, ugh.
Now I really hope we
Like,
win them.
I mean, and I like the yellow bottle, man. Classic French's mustard.
Yeah,
Bring it on.
yeah. I don't even buy it
Well,
anymore.
yeah,
I
I
buy
mean,
Kroger brand
yeah,
because it's like
I
a
hear you.
dollar.
I get the Aldi yellow mustard, same deal.
Yeah,
But
yeah. Because honestly, yellow
is
mustard to me, it
yeah,
all
it's
tastes
pretty damn
about the
close.
same. Yeah, it's not like ketchup where I have a distinct
Now,
favorite.
if they were smart though, Brian, because Skittles, taste the
Mm-hmm.
rainbow and whatnot, they should have had
Mm-hmm.
mustard Skittles, but you have your yellow, you have your honey mustard, you have your spicy mustard.
That
Mix
would
it
be
up a little.
interesting.
Give me some. The mustard's a fucking. It's like a rainbow, man. There's multiple colors of mustard.
You're not wrong. You are not wrong. When you go into the store, there are a
Yeah.
lot of mustards now. It's like I remember when I was a kid, there was basically like 3 kinds of mustard. There was like, honey mustard, Dijon, and yellow.
Here's what it
And that was it.
It was the yellow Frenches, the spicy brown Goldens that my
Yep.
dad liked, and the expensive honey mustard
Right.
in that hexagon jar.
Oh,
Those were the
yeah,
mustards.
yeah. And Grey Poupon. Grey Poupon also. Let's not forget about
Grey Poupon.
Well, we weren't fancy enough to
Didn't
eat
have
Grey
a Rolls
Poupon, so-
Royce or a Butler.
Yeah. Well, I think the only way you could get it back then was literally to roll up on a rich person and ask them if they
classic.
had it. Yeah.
All right, here's my question
Yeah,
for you.
Man.
What sort of Skittle do you want in your life?
I mean, has it got to
Yeah,
be
it
like
can't.
this kind of thing?
Yeah, it
like
can't
a
be like
condiment or
a
something?
normal Skittle that actual people want to try.
Well, let me
Okay,
ask
let me
you
ask
this. If they made a sriracha Skittle,
I'd try it.
would
I'd
you
try
eat it? Or a hot sauce? Doesn't
Sriracha's
even
a
have
good
to
call
be
because it's kind of sweet.
sriracha.
Yeah.
Right, but sriracha's also like $9 million a bottle right now. So,
I have a giant bottle
because it's the shortage. Well, there's a shortage of it, so you're sitting on a gold mine right now. You should sell it.
Sell it by a tablespoon.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would do I would try a hot sauce one, either a sriracha or like a Frank's, like buffalo wing Skittle or something.
Yeah. That's what I was thinking. A buffalo wing would be interesting. I was just trying to think of along the lines of like condiments because I for sure wouldn't want ketchup ones.
So here,
and I'm a ketchup fan.
Here's what I want for my buffalo wing Skittles. It's got to be a variety pack again. I want the wing flavored ones. I want celery flavored ones. I want ranch and blue cheese flavored ones. Or maybe you have a pack that are ranch and you have a pack that are blue cheese.
That would probably work better.
Some people like either or. Like I'll take them both, but whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. If they're gonna do some fucked up Skittles, make maybe some buffalo wing Skittles, or like Supreme
that's what I was trying
pizza
to think
Skittles.
Of.
Like, give me some sausage ones, some pepperoni ones, some green pepper ones.
What if they had cheese Skittles?
What kind of cheese, Brian?
Well, given the situation, we're probably talking American cheese.
That's fair. Be the Kraft single Skittle.
Yeah. That's the move, right? It's like, okay, you got the mustard ones. Like, let's round out a hamburger or a hot dog here. We got to have a hot dog Skittle.
Absolutely.
We got to have, oh, God. Can you imagine the hot dog ones? It would just taste like hot dog water,
my
probably.
stomach just turned a little bit.
It'd be,
God, that would
so
be the
horrible.
worst.
I mean, you got to have your, maybe a little relish, or do you go chili? Chili cheese Skittles and the hot dog ones and mustard.
So you can like, what kind of hot dog am I having today?
Oh my God! I just pictured like in Japan or something. They probably got like garlic Skittles.
I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if they got some weird ass Skittles over there. Their Skittles are like they're porn, bizarre.
Yeah, I don't understand how. I just don't understand how this happened.
Yeah, I don't know how if Big French's just called up, the Skittles Corporation was like, we need to collaborate. I don't understand.
Yeah. So I said it's like I'm trying to think of, it's like like I could see if they had various sauces. There's some people would probably go crazy for them. Like if they had like Chick-fil-A sauce or what is it, the In-N-Out sauce or whatever, you know, that kind of thing. I could see some people being like, dude, Arby's like horsey and
hell
Arby's
yeah, a little
sauce
barbecue.
Yeah. Oh man, I miss the barbecue. That was one of my favorite sandwiches from there. I used to get a mess of them when they were, you know, 5 for $5 or whatever,
Oh yeah, back
100
in the
years
day
ago.
when their logo was a giant fucking cowboy hat or whatever.
Yep.
As it should.
As it should be. It's how it should have stayed.
The classics.
Classic.
Brian, the classics.
All right, what was it? I thought I had one more thing here. What did I have? Oh, I forgot when I was talking about stuff I was watching. Fluffy Bunny Ash recommended to me because she was talking about how you know, like there's a few shows that really represent Canadians, you know, and like Letterkenny is, you know, Trailer Park Boys has got its place. And she was like, you know, you should watch Corner Gas. And I was like, never heard of this show. And it's basically, it's like this, it's a gas station / cafe in this like podunk town in Canada.
Interesting.
And it's from 2004 to 2009. I started watching it the other night, and it's very, there's very much some stuff in there that's kind of Letterkenny-ish. Like, and this was before Letterkenny, I believe, but I'm just meaning more that it reminds me of that kind of scenario. And I love like where they live. There's a town, the next town over. Every time they mention it, anybody in the room acts like they're spitting on the floor, you know, when at the mention of that town and, you know, and stuff. And it's just, you know, this guy's running a gas station that his dad used to run. His dad's just this cantankerous old, you know, coot basically. And his mom is, you know, he's got an idiot best friend. And there's this like sweet, naive lady who's from Toronto that comes in to run the cafe. And she just like, these are all just these, she's from the big city, you know, basically. And there's all these bumpkins and their backwards way of, like the one I watched last night, she has a Pilates class and nobody shows up basically to it. And then somebody in this guy's like, well, what is it? And she's like, well, it's a way to unite the mind and body. He goes, no. He's like, what do you actually do? And she goes, oh, it's like stretching and blah, blah. And he goes, oh, a mat class. And she goes, what? And he goes, yeah, so-and-so runs a mat class. And then someone tells this woman, they're like, she's really mad at you for running a competing mat class. And she's like, I didn't even know what a mat class was, you know, kind of a thing. It's just they have their own term for, you know,
because Podunk Town.
Right. So it's a pretty decent show. It's definitely a show that I think it's weird because the American in me, I think, wants to like gloss it up just a little bit, but I think you would lose some character if you did, you know. But it's, you know, like the one bar takes away their shuffleboard table and the guy's dad goes into the bar all the time and plays shuffleboard. Well, now they have a crane game and he gets addicted to the crane game. So he's stuffing like stuffed animals all over their house and all this. And like, you know, his wife goes to open a cabinet and there's just all these like bunnies and shit.
I mean, that's
there,
pretty
and,
funny.
you know. Yeah, it's a pretty good show. I don't mind it. So I mean, it's like TV 14, and it's, you know, it's a little hokey at times. In some of the comedy, I feel like it's like, you know, you could probably push a little further, but it's pretty good. I've enjoyed it.
Interesting.
Yeah, and apparently there's like
an
animated.
I see that. I got it pulled up over here.
There's a movie. Yeah.
Oh, live actions on Prime Video. Okay, so I can watch this if I want to.
It's on Freevee also. Okay. Yeah, if people have Freevee. Yeah. But yeah, like the IMDb rating, it's like 8.4 out of 10. You know, it's got a pretty good rating on it.
Good on.
Like I really don't love the guy who is the main character, but he created the show, so there's not much you can do about that. Like I feel like they could have gotten a better actor for that. I mean, that role.
Just from this one, because my images are a little, you know, I don't have as many pixels as I was wanting over here, Brian. It kind of looks like dollar store Lewis Black, like a young Lewis Black. That's a
little bit. He's not anywhere near as cantankerous though, or fiery. But you know, it's a small town, so Yeah. One of the episodes I watched last night was the one cop in town and the guy from the gas station. They basically get into a pissing contest over who has the smaller cell phone. And I was like, oh man, you can tell that's from a long
Yeah.
time ago. Because now when nobody's trying
Yeah.
to get the smallest
Jeez,
cell phone
Logan
now.
just got one of those Galaxy Folds. That thing's wild.
Yeah.
That's the one that opens like a
Yeah.
book. So it's
Oh,
closed.
right.
It's like
Okay.
your
Yeah.
standard like brick smartphone, but then it can open up
Yeah.
and the whole thing's a screen.
That's weird. So it's like an
Yeah,
iPad
exactly.
mini
It's
at
just
that
like,
point almost.
Jesus.
Yeah.
Which I'm not gonna lie, I saw it. I'm like, well, that's
Yeah.
cool, but I'm basically just
Mhm.
keep giving me iPhones. I'm fine. I got
Yeah.
enough things.
Yeah.
It's fine. I'm fine if iPhones.
So, but then you could see
Nah,
the
it's
things
okay.
bigger,
I'm
Tony.
good.
But we're getting
I
older. You're gonna
definitely
need
know
to
we're
see
getting
the
older,
things
but
big.
I'm good. I got
You're gonna be like Chuck
with
before
85
long.
font. It'd be like one letter on my screen. I got to try to remember what they are and spell them out. All these texts I'm getting.
Yeah.
Oh my god,
Yes,
this
sir.
chair is
All right, I got one
killing
last
me,
thing
dude.
here.
Oh
Well, speaking of something killing your ass,
really?
found this thing on futurism.com that says Stanford scientists find that ChatGPT is getting stupider.
Because it's interacting with humans, I guarantee it.
Probably, right? Well, I think one of the things a lot of people don't understand with these AI things is that the way they work isn't they solve the problem and then stop. Every time they run, they recalculate. And picture if you were crunching down like, a file. If you keep doing it, eventually you're going to ruin the integrity of the file. And I think that's kind of what goes on here a little bit. But I like your theory better. So
yeah, us people are screwing it up.
Yeah, probably. Where is it? I'm trying to look for. Yeah, the company, of course, says each version we make is smarter. But it says the researchers didn't posit reasons as to why the drifts in accuracy and ability are occurring. They do note that the demonstrable worsening over time challenges OpenAI's insistence that its models are instead improving. So, yeah.
I'm sure it'll all turn itself around, I'm sure. And then the machines will wage war on us.
Right. It just made me laugh when I saw it because I was, it's like, oh yeah, I could see where that might happen because it also doesn't know where to like stop. Like I said, it just keeps trying to get better and better and better every time you run it. Now humans are going to run it until we get what we want and then we'll stop. But if you just continued to run it, it would probably eventually eat itself. Over time it would just collapse upon itself because it just keeps trying. Eventually it'll get to where it's like, I can't, why isn't this working?
And that is how we'll stop the machines.
So, yeah. Maybe.
Could be.
Obviously, from what we've seen in movies and stuff, all we have to do is tell it a riddle. They can't possibly figure out a riddle.
Dumb bastards.
Except that, yeah. It's just like, there was something I saw the other day. There was like a script for something, and they pointed out that the script was mostly like directly plagiarized, and it was written by
Shocking.
AI. And I was like, yeah, because AI combs what's out there and then mushes shit together. So there's always going to be that mathematical chance that a good brick of the story could be directly lifted from something.
Yeah, what is it? Like a million monkeys with a million typewriters or something like that,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly. It was the best of times. It was the blurst of times. As the Simpsons had. Yep.
The blurst of times.
All right, so I have a shut up and take my money.
I love these.
Yeah.
What you got?
Yeah. So this one is they just announced the other day that they're making pops based on the Muppet Christmas Carol.
That's cool.
Including a 2-pack of the Marley Brothers.
Marley and Marley.
Yep. The old guys. God, why can't I think of their names now?
Fuck.
Ben. Benson and Hedges? No, that's
Hall and
cigarettes.
Oates.
Hall and Oates. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's Hall and Oates.
Statler.
Oh my God, I cannot believe I can't think of their
Waldorf. That's what it is.
Yeah. So, and my favorite, like those I gotta get. Like I don't know for sure if I'll get. I'd like to get all of them, but they're making Fozzie as Fozziewig, Mrs. Cratchit is Miss Piggy, Scrooge, Bob Cratchit, which is Kermit, comes with Tiny Tim, and the winner across the board is Gonzo as Charles Dickens, and he comes with a little Rizzo. Which I was gonna riot if there was no Rizzo, because that'd been horseshit right there. But then, of course, the Marley Brothers too. I was like, oh God, I'm so happy that they're making them as well.
These are fun stuff
and,
right here.
Funko is going to have an exclusive 2-pack of the Marley Brothers that glow in the dark, which I'm hoping to get, but I feel like I probably won't because I think they're supposed to be limited. So I'll probably just be sitting at my computer crying while they sell out.
Yeah, probably. Yeah, these are pretty sweet. Gotta say.
Yeah, big fan. Big fan. And it's funny because it's one of the properties that different times when you've asked me, like, what haven't they made that you wish they would? This has never popped into my head. And now that I've seen it, I'm like, oh my God, how did I not think of this?
Of course.
Yeah. Like, it's my favorite version.
I kind of wish
Christmas
they would have like a Bob Cratchit. Here you go, I'll pull them up right here. But it's like an alternate one, and it just comes with a little tombstone.
Dang, that got dark.
I'm just saying.
Man. Yeah, I saw somebody else in the comments was basically like, like, when are we going to get the Muppet Treasure Island? And I'm like, oh,
Man,
I wish.
Would be dope
I'd love
too.
that
Yeah,
movie
for
too.
Sure.
But that one I don't expect to happen, but
you never know, man.
Yep.
Yeah, the Gonzo's that's great.
Yeah, that's why it's like the two that I absolutely got to grab are the Marley Brothers and Gonzo. The others I'll probably grab as, if I have the money and whatever.
Yeah.
So,
yeah,
but those two I
shut up and take my money right there. Just in time for Christmas.
Yeah,
Christmas in July. We just missed it. Damn it.
Yeah. Dang it, you're right. Because it's almost August now.
That's
Son of a bitch.
Frightening to me. It's almost August. That doesn't even make sense. What happened?
Yep. Well, you know how it is. Like, warm weather always goes by fast.
I guess.
Cold weather is like, oh, here, let me
I'm
stick
dying.
around for 8 months.
That's how it feels like in the cold weather. Hot weather, just like I'm melting.
That's what I saw in the news the other day. They were talking about, the hot weather we've had. And they're like, and the one woman's like, well, this is the counter, because we get all that cold weather. I'm like, this isn't a counter.
Yeah.
This sucks too.
It's equally shitty.
Yeah, like we don't need this just because we get the snow. Right? I'd gladly give both up. I'd love like no snow, and then we can just have like 80-degree weather. I'd be fantastic.
I'd be fine with this. This all sounds good to me.
Yeah, right? That's what I'm saying.
Pieces of shit.
Like, geez, I don't think I'm asking too much here.
Pieces of shit.
Yeah. All right, let's move to the QoftheW.
No, we're good, brother. Unless you want me to complain about my ass again because of this damn chair.
I mean, you haven't done it yet, so it's fine. I'll cut it all out anyway. I always edit all that stuff out. Yeah.
Let me see here. So last week we asked you all, what's an outdated slang that you still use today? Good stuff.
Oh, right.
Over here on Face page. Well, actually, I'll do Instagram first because we got nothing, so that's real easy. Over here on Face page.
Okay.
I know, right? Our friend easy. Stephanie, she says, I say dope way too much.
That was one I forgot about that I say a lot too. I use that a lot, especially in like typing to people. When they show me something, I'm like, yo, that's dope. I say yo.
I like dope still. I think it's fun. It's a good word.
Yeah.
Diamond, top fan Kiki. She says, cool beans, bitchin', and sad day.
Sad day? I didn't. That's not one I'm familiar with. Bitchin's a one that you don't hear very much
or Skitchin. Hell yeah.
Wow.
Diamond Top fan, Dev. He says, I say dope an unsettling amount. I also say moo juice instead of milk occasionally.
God, my mom still says that too. Yeah.
Man, we got another Diamond Top fan checking in. Jeff from Hobie. He says, they don't still use awesome much anymore, do they? Awesome! So Valerie, she says, me, YOLO, and Sad Panda. Aaron, boss.
Oh, I say Sad Panda quite a bit, too.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah. Boss, that's a good one.
Jason from Hobie. Wow, checking in. Wow, everyone from Hobie checked in. Now I'm looking at it. Jason says, bee's knees.
Oh, wow. Yeah, he seems like a bee's knees kind of guy.
Rapscallion. And then Blake, also of Hobie, says, word to your mother.
Jeez. I just, like how much content, like, how many opportunities do you get to say word to your mother?
I mean, you're not wrong.
Is he just saying it naturally, or is he shoehorning
I hope it's natural, but if it's shoehorning, that's okay, too.
Bonus points, I think, if you shoehorn it, you know. Yeah.
That's all I got, though.
All right. Well, Cheeto says, he says pretty much any slang that he uses. He's like, seriously, for me, it's dig as in I dig it, which that's another one I use. He says, yeah, I use that. Why? Because I dig it, man. He says, Mini Bandito says her outdated slang is saying period at the end of a statement. Now, see, she needs to upgrade. She needs to go to full stop. You know, because full stop, I think, has more power to it. You know, like blah, blah, blah. Full
Mic
stop.
drop. I like that one, too.
Like, oh, shit. Yeah. He says, Mrs. Bandito says all that in a bag of chips is her outdated slang term, and she ain't shitting.
That's funny.
Well, she's not listening, man. It's going to be some lonely nights on the couch coming up. Or out in the camper or whichever. He says, also, I need to add that finna isn't gonna. I don't give a fuck what the kids say. He's just saying, what up, gang, to one person is also dumb as shit. One isn't a gang. It takes multiple people to be a gang. Okay, old man rant over. And then he sent me an addendum that he says Mini Bandito also informed him that he says word often. Says we were having a conversation, and after she made her statement, I said word, and she said I needed to tell you guys.
That's funny. I do like word. That's a good one, too. Word.
Yep. Word to your mother. I mean,
word to your mother. There. Exactly.
To your mother. Boy. All right. Well, let's see. 1 through 9.
5.
5? Okay. What's something that gets less appealing as you get older?
Staying up late, Brian. At least for me. I like sleep.
Well, you can sleep through the day, though.
And also, let me make an addendum. Staying up late
don't use my word.
And drinking. Like I'm more inclined to do a little day drinking and then cut her off. You know?
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But really just staying up late.
Mine was gonna basically be the party lifestyle thing. Like it's like when you're young, it's easy to recover from and you don't care and it doesn't destroy your body, all that stuff. But it's just as you get older, you just go, why the fuck am I doing this to myself? And then you hit the day where you go, I'm not doing this to myself anymore. And I for sure hit that point to where I couldn't tell you the last time I was drunk. I maybe buzzed, but I can't think of the last time I was hammered, Pretty rare now.
It's coming up in your future soon then.
Right. But it's by design now, it's just like I'm not looking to get wrecked all the time. And because like you said, we've talked about it ad nauseum on here. It's like it takes us 4 fucking days to recover.
Exactly. What's the point?
It's so not worth it. You know, if I was 20, I'd still be whacking down beers left and right, probably. But you know, as a very soon to be 45-year-old man, not so much. So, yeah, it's like anytime when I've been on like dating apps and stuff, it's like when I see someone anywhere near our age and they're like, I like to party in clubs, and I'm like, no,
do ya?
You know,
You think you
like
do?
you could have every other green flag that I'm looking for, kind of a thing. But if that's on your bio, I'm like, no, thank you, because I'm not part of that scene anymore. You know, I'm all for going out, having a few pints, having a time. But if you're looking to go get riggedy wrecked, nah, I'm good. I also don't want to babysit drunks.
Accurate.
You know, that's something I for sure never really cared for doing, but I have even less tolerance for it now. I just don't want to.
I don't wanna.
Because, you know, like I want to go have a time. I don't want to have to, you know, be sitting there and making sure that, you know, somebody doesn't fall down a flight of stairs or something, you know. You know, like me.
You don't want that at all.
Whatever. It's so funny. Like I was just thinking about that, and it was like I'm thinking about how that time when we were in Detroit and I nearly, you know, like ate shit coming out of that brewery.
Yes.
You know, because of that giant step that wasn't there. And then, you know, when we were in the attic, I had absolutely no trouble getting down all those
stairs of
stairs.
Death. When you're 85 pints in.
Totally fine on those. But yeah, exactly. But after a few pints and you know, a step that's like, you know, 3 feet, I can't handle.
Good times,
good
man.
Shit. Yeah. So there you go. So the question is, oh no, I lost my page. There it is. What's something that gets less appealing as you get older? I'm hoping most of it's not going to be like, you know, dealing with people, blah blah blah. It's like, you know, it's like give us something a little better than that, you know. But it is kind of sad that if that is a common answer, I think we're going the wrong way as a society with that. Even though you and I bitch about it all the time.
It's my favorite thing to do.
But the concept of how a lot of people really are moving backwards when it comes to being social, I don't think.
Well, that's why, you know, a lot of times when I'm sitting out back, you know, because you know, I'll be here, but no one's here but Michelle, and I'll just like I and the dogs, but then I'd like text you and Cheeto. I reach out to some of my other friends, I got to check in with my buddies. You know, even if we're not hanging out together, it's still like maintaining that social contact. You know?
Yeah, I agree, because it's very much, you know, isolation is a bitch, you know. Like I can speak real well on it, and on one hand it's nice because, you know, like with my noise sensitivities and all this, it's nice that I can kind of control that. But I think then there's the other side of it, which is by staying home more frequently and staying in quiet rooms or using noise canceling, blah blah blah, when I do have to go out into the noise, it's probably ramped up, you know, because I'm desensitized. It's like, you know, like if I started whacking down 15% beers right now, I haven't been doing much drinking. Hell, I don't even have to go to 15. If I was whacking down like 7 or 9%ers, I'd be fucked up quick, probably, you know, because my tolerance is gone. So, you know, it's one of those things that, I appreciate that. And I try to do that too. Because I've known for years I have the tendency to drift, like especially if I'm kind of, my depression's kind of, you know, ramping up. I kind of drift to where I don't reach out to people, you know, and I don't even realize I'm doing it, you know. So it stinks that it happens. So yeah, anyone listening, please, you know, my crazy life moment of the week, I guess, is, you know, please try really hard not to isolate yourself, but yeah. You know, before we get to the very end here, I got something. I'm going to talk about this on the Crazy Life, but I really want to recommend it to people, which is there's a couple episodes of Hidden Brain that were released recently. One is called I got to pull this up. One is called The Path to Enough, and the other episode is called The Paradox of Pleasure. It's a 2-part episode or series, I guess, whatever. And he talks with I don't remember if she's a psychologist or psychiatrist, but he talks to a woman who basically talks about how because of Amazon and DoorDash and our phones, how basically everything that people use as any sort of a coping tool has become drugified.
That's interesting.
Because we can get an overabundance of it. And basically she talks about how whenever we do something and it releases serotonin, our bodies stomp on the opposite side also, which releases the negative stuff. So if we're overdoing it on positive things, there's going to be the balance, which is that your body's going to release a bunch of negative stuff.
The no biological free ride. Yeah.
Basically, yeah. And she talks about, so basically what you want to do is kind of tap the serotonin. You don't want to stomp on it. And we're sitting on our phones.
Yeah.
Yeah. But like we're on our phones all day getting that, whatever. Or if your coping mechanism is, the classic ones, of course, would be, booze and drugs and stuff like that. But she goes even further to where it can be stuff like she got hooked on like smut novels. No, she got hooked on smut novels, basically.
Like sexy Bigfoot ones? Hell yeah.
Yeah, of course. And she goes into that. It's a very interesting listen. I really think everybody should listen to the episodes, because I think there's something to glean from it. Because she's been testing people and basically finding that even like like she talks about how she had a woman that was smoking weed a lot to deal with her anxiety. And she asked the woman about, would you consider giving up weed? And the woman goes, no, it's the only thing that works for my anxiety. And she was kind of like, well, how long do you want to be using that as a coping tool? Is this something you want to eventually, hopefully? And the woman's like, well, yeah, because I want to not have to deal with the anxiety anymore. I want to treat my anxiety. And this woman was like, well, basically you're not treating your anxiety. What you're doing is you're staving off the withdrawal symptoms. Basically, you're, by getting your next fix, essentially, you're not dealing with your anxiety. You're actually, all you're doing is keeping your fix going. And she's, using that as a thing and talking about, so what she found is that when she takes away the fix thing from people, that they're finding that their happiness level is rising, because they're not getting that whiplash from the depression or the negative chemicals in our brain. So I said, it's a very interesting listen. And she's got a book out that, God, I wish I could read, because I really would
Brian,
love to
read. You can't read?
Book,
Oh, no. Damn, I wish I could read these.
Yeah, anyway, like that. Yeah. If you're into this kind of stuff as I am and whatever, and it's super relevant given our where we are as society with, like I said, everything is available on demand now. You don't have to wait till the weekend to get this or that, or you don't have to wait till you go to the store. It's like, no, literally, it can be delivered to your house in like half an hour.
Shoot, man. You want some cookies? We got you.
Yeah, right. Like you need some weed? We got you.
Let's live in Ohio.
You need weed and cookies? No problem.
You need weed cookies? We got you.
We got you. Shit. Welcome to Michigan. I don't know that you can get shit delivered. I'm sure there's probably somebody who does. I don't know if it's legal or not.
I don't know. That's a good question. I'd be curious.
They should. They should allow it because of people who are like hermits. Like they have massive anxiety. Like that way they could still maybe get their marijuanas. But so I'm sure there's something
up on edibles that can't get off the floor.
Well, that's, I think, the real reason DoorDash has done as well as it has. That's just the laziness. Kills me every time I use it, because I'm just burning money here.
Light the old wallet on fire.
Yeah, but like here's $10 that I'm just throwing away.
Worth it sometimes, though.
Or whatever. Yeah. It is, totally. Like, I'm not going to lie, it is. Yep. All right. Well, there you go. Head on over to saltylanguage.com, and you can find all the links to the things for the show. While you're over there, check out tangentboundnetwork.com, which is the network we're part of. And if you're looking for a network for your show, join us. And if you happen to talk to Mark, I don't know.
I mean,
what we got for Mark
he's got his little fingies into everything, so I'm hoping he's got some sweet gaming chairs because my ass is killing me.
You're right. He needs to make gaming chairs and send you one.
Podcasting chairs.
Send us one. What am I saying? Yeah. Oh. Yeah, that's what we're gonna do. We're just gonna make gaming chairs, but call them podcasting chairs. Same thing. I want one of those so bad, but I can't pull the trigger on it because money, first of all. But even if I had the money, I'm so afraid they're not going to deliver. But they
do look
comfortable as hell.
They look like supervillain layer kind of chairs.
Yes, like anybody listening, if you have one of those chairs, can you
let
us know? Because I don't know anybody who has one. Yes, send us the chair. Don't wash it first. Somebody wants to sniff it.
Duh.
Leave your essence.
I need your musk.
It's funny. I've gotten to where it's like the two words I hate saying more than anything now, even though if it's in context, are Trump and Musk. Like I was talking euchre with my mom the other day, and I just every time I say Trump, my stomach turns. So, anyways, sorry about the politics. I'm
like, fine.
Anyway. So yeah, check out tangiboutnetwork.com. There's other shows on there. Please check those out as well. And if you want to find us on social media, you can find the show on X or
gross
on Twitter. I just refuse to call it on Twitter at @salty_language.
You can find us on Instagram and Threads as Salty Language, Salty Language Pod on YouTube, at Salty Language on TikTok, Patreon.com/saltylanguage for some bonus materials. I like this idea of doing the 90s cruise review. And someone just asked me if my power's back on. I got a little side gig, and it's very, 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 very side gig. All the beers. I am working on a blog post, but God, it's been too busy lately for me to do anything extracurricular. Brian, what else do you got?
You can find my other podcast, The Crazy Life. And it's me and Jen and Henno usually talking about, like I said, mental health stuff. Or, I talk about my depression and anxiety, and Jen and Henno talk about addiction and recovery, and Jen talks about her bipolar. And, we just kind of whatever subjects come into our radar that have to do with those type of things we like to talk about. And if you're into that, please give us a listen. And also, I didn't say it earlier. You can find me on Twitter, and you can find me on most social media things at Stunami.
No.
There's a couple where I'm probably not because some other jerk took Stunami before I got
Piece of shit.
Like I think when I was on Snapchat, it was I used Ninjitsu because Stunami was already taken. So
too bad you can't just lock it in across all platforms. Yeah.
Yeah, I know, right? That's the main reason why when one of these other platforms has come out, I'll just sign up for an account just to lock in the name for consistency. It's so much easier because people will be like, Twitter sucks. Tell me where else to find you to other, and it's just like, just look for the same tag, basically.
Exactly.
Because odds are, if I'm not using Stunami, I probably don't use it anymore. Or, that's probably it because there's not very many. Because most of them I jump on fairly early. So
except TikTok,
like I said, just to try to lock the name. Except TikTok.
You just call it TikTok.
I haven't even looked to see if I can get TikTok. Yeah. I listen. If it was TikTok,
I'm going to find out for you right now, Brian.
All right. Because I really should just lock it in just to have it, but I just, whatever.
Let's see here.
If not, I'll just call it like Cloud Chaser or something like that. I'm just gonna TikTok clouds. That's gonna be my thing every day. I'll just post the clouds.
Tsunami users. Somebody has it already. It's a private account. They only have 2 followers.
I'd have more than that. I'd have like 4.
They're following 35 people. They don't even have a profile picture. What a hunk of shit this person is.
Angries me up. Wasting my username. That's All right, so I'll have to come up with
You
something
missed the
else.
opportunity, Brian. You missed the opportunity.
Yes. Sure. It's probably somebody that is pissed at me for having it on Twitter.
Yeah, that's probably about right. Yeah.
I'll show that
hey,
guy.
well, fuck this guy, man.
I'm going to TikTok. As soon as TikTok exists,
Hell yeah.
I'm there.
Now we're talking.
Oh man, going back to the X thing real quick. There was a person who their Twitter handle was @X, and basically the site just bumped them off of that name, so that the site could take the name
just
over.
not surprised.
I guess they offered like merchandise, and I think the person said they offered them like merch and like a meeting, and I was like, what are we talking, a meeting with Musk? Because as much as I just would love to punch the guy in the face, I would take that meeting just for shits
right,
and giggles.
Exactly.
If we're talking just some random asshole from Twitter, nah, who cares, But if it was him, I'd for sure do that, Be like, I'll tell you what I'll do. I'll do that, but you also have to give me like 5-minute interview for my podcast.
5. Need to be a full-blown guest on The Enthusiast.
That's enough. Dude, that's enough. Because that would just give us the ability to go, hey, check out Elon Musk on The Enthusiast.
That's accurate.
Hi, thanks for having me.
Yeah, that was great.
Was
the rest
nice.
of it was horse shit. We didn't want to air it.
Yeah. So bad. All right.
I gotta get my fucking table back from Logan so I don't have to sit at this goddamn bar.
Yeah, you do. Just gonna sit on the table instead.
Yeah.
The insult of the week this week, I don't even know how to say this. Gamahuche? Gamahuche, and the definition is a Victorian word for oral sex. Boy, I'll tell you what, that's a
mouthful.
Word. I see what you did there.
Waka waka.
Yeah, because according to dictionary.com, it's a verb to practice cunnilingus or fellatio on.
Wow, it's all inclusive even, huh?
Yeah. I was hoping for a pronunciation, like, I don't know, game. Man, I don't even know how the fuck I'm supposed to say this. Game. Yeah, I don't know.
Whatever. That's what it is, though.
Well, I was hoping it would be one of those things where, like some of the sites have it to where you can click on the word and it'll pronounce it. So, one thing I do have to tell you about the that hidden brain. I pick up things when people say things, and it like the way they say them, their inflection or what. I pick up weird things because of how my brain works. The woman says, instead of saying stimuli, she says stimuli. And I don't know why, because the word is, unless it's accepted both ways, it's stimuli. The multiple of stimulus. And she keeps saying stimuli. And I'm like, lady, you have a degree, and why are you saying it this way? And I even I went on, the dictionary.com and different stuff and looked, and I was like, it's pronounced stimuli, and she keeps saying stimuli, and every time she does, it
sounds like a sushi chef. Stimuli.
No, it's the massage therapist that you have,
Jackie McJackerson.
Well, that's her stage name. Stimuli is their actual name. Anyway, so there's your word or insult for the week. So until next week, have
Stay
a beer, you'll
salty
be fine.
And pick a better chair next time, Tony.